Hi, and welcome to another video where I attempt to build something in bricks. And today I thought I'd have a go at this fancy button. And I'm thinking that when you hover over this, it should expand to come out to the full width of the button, and probably change colour just to indicate that you are hovering over it. So to save a lot of time, I've quickly built out a section with heading, text, and an image on the right, and I'm going to drop the button in here. Now I think what I'm going to need to do is put it into a block, basically because of the little arrow there. So, and I think what we'll need in that block is a text link, and an SVG element. Of course it didn't go inside, so let's drop that in the block, and let's drop the SVG element in the block, move them around to the right place, and we'll call this button. We'll call this link, and we'll leave that as SVG. I think I'll make this its own BEM class, so let's change that to, sorry, not class, block, I believe it is. Let's change that to circle button. And then if we just BEM that class, we'll have circle button, button link, button SVG. That should be okay on that one. These have already got classes on, and I've done some styling on those. Right, so let's select the button wrapper. I mean, really that should say wrapper, but we'll leave it as it is for now. Circle button. Let's go to CSS. I'm going to do this all in CSS so that we can move things around easier. For the hover up, we're going to need to use pseudo element really for the circle, so it's better to be done here. First of all, let's give that a root and some stylings, because we are going to need position. Well, if I could type of relative. Let's get the pseudo element into place. So let's do root and then before. Right, first thing we need to do is put content of 0 in there. I really cannot type. And then a position of not relative but absolute. I believe that's right. What we actually need to do is, I think it's display flex anyway, so let's do flex direction of row. Why is that not working? Why is that not working at all? Display flex direction row. Okay, let's take that off. Let's go to content. It is a display of flex row. Let's just change this SVG for a start to an arrow we have there. That's working. That circle button, display a flex. Why is that not? Ah. That seems to be overriding it for some reason. That should not be happening. Anyway, that gap is too much, so let's put a gap in of 0.5 m. What is overriding? Sorry about that. I had a quick look at it, and it was basically the bricks builder wasn't showing the right thing, so I refreshed the builder and it seems to be working fine now. So if we change that, that changes as it should do. So let's go back to here and let's center those two parts. Let's get back to doing the pseudo element. So position absolute. Let's give it a height of, actually I want a height of 100%, I think. And what we'll do is we will put some padding of 1.5 rem and 2.5 rem on the actual button itself, so therefore it should be right. Now let's give it a background color. And I'm using ACSS on this, so I'll just do the primary. Oh, usual mistake for me, spelt it wrong. Being English, I always put a U in there. Let's give it a position of 0, left 0. Why is it not showing up? I have no idea. Background color. Does it need those quotes? No. Height. Let's give it a width of 3 rem. Right, so it is there, but we want it to be square, so let's give that an aspect ratio of 1. Oh, it's telling me spelling again. Aspect ratio of 1. That's fine. And then what we need to do is give it a circular border. So we'll give it a border radius 50 view width. Should give it a circle. Yeah. And then I need it to go behind. So that will be a Z index of -1. So that is essentially what we have there. Let's just change the link text to say read more here. So that works like that. That looks pretty good. Yeah, so far happy that's working. I do think on the circle button on the CSS we will need to put in isolation of isolate. That just means that if there's a colour on this section, the button won't go behind that. So I mean, if I quickly give this a colour, background of blue, like that. See that? Isolation, isolate. Let me just check that that's the right way of putting it around. I often confuse the two. I think I've put it on the wrong thing. Before that even comes up, let's go back to here. Let's take that off there and put it on there. Yep, I had it in the wrong place. I thought I'd got it the wrong way round, but I put it onto the wrong thing. So there you go. If that wasn't on there, as you can see, the pseudo element is there, but it's gone behind the background. So let's take that horrible background off. And let's get back to it. Right, let's click on the circle button. Now, what I want to happen is that it increases in size when it's hovered over. I think actually the primary ought to be lighter because it's light here. So let's go to primary light. That looks pretty good. What's ultralight like? This is just ACSS color variables. My typing is terrible. Ultralight, maybe a little too light. So let's just stick with light. Right. Now, let's see. I want to go root and hover. But I want to affect the before, I believe, so let's do that. And let's have a look. So let's do a width of 100%, because I want it to go to the full width. Ooh. And let's get this background colour. Let's paste it in there, but let's just make it primary. So hopefully, yep, that works. Obviously it's going to the full width of the block. So what we need to do is change the width of the block here to width of max content, I believe. So that's now the content. Yep, that's working. That's as I wanted it to be. And now we'll need to put a transition. I was going to say translation. A transition, and we need that on the before element. So let's type in transition, and I think we can do it on width. And let's do 0.3 seconds ease. Let's see if that works. That appears to work. So let's save. Let's check out on the front end. Yep, that looks pretty cool. Doesn't link anywhere though. So is this all going to change when we make it a link? Possibly so. Let's click on the link, click on content, link type, let's see custom URL, and let's just make that a link. So now the link has changed colour. That's an ACSS thing. But I don't want to change all of the links. So let's inspect it. So we can have a look. So it's the link circle button A. So let's see if we can change that. Make sure we're on circle button. On circle button. Oh no. On circle button, go to style. So let's put another selector in here of the A link. Color. Is that affecting it? Yes, it does. So we want it to be text dark on ACSS. Oh no, that's not right. Text dark. We don't want underline. Can never remember what underline is. Is it text decoration? None. No. So let's just do a quick Google. Remove. Right. She codes probably knows what she's doing. Text decoration and set it to none. Did I spell it wrong? Yes, I did. Oh well, I was kind of right. Just wrong with my typing. If only I could type. And that still hasn't worked. Important isn't going to work. Do we need to put it in here? No. Right. Well, I don't want the links in any of at the moment to have a border. But let's just... Right. No, we want that. There. Root. Hover. And let's change this to text light. That works. Where is my transition? On there. we also need, I didn't put the comma there, we also need a transition here, and that's going to be all. Terrible for getting the commas. Right, so that's okay there. Let's just have a quick look in ACSS to get rid of that. Buttons and links, global, all buttons, line height, text decoration, none. So I don't know why that isn't working. Full of problems today. Text decoration via link decoration. Right, so basically it's saying where it's not a button, put an underline on it. Yeah, that's an ACSS issue that I'd need to figure out. Links, styles, decoration, underline. Let's take that off and click save. Has that done it? Yes, that's done it. So that's sorted that out. That makes that go to the end. Really what we need to do is change the stroke of that SVG now to light. I wasn't intending to make it white. I mean, I could make it easy and make it black, but I quite like the fact that it changes. So let's see if I can do that. Let's inspect that element. So it's SVG path. Right, so it's SVG and path. So let's look here. When we hover over the element, when we hover over this, we want to change the SVG. So this is going to be another root hover, and then SVG let's have a look again. Colour, or is it straight? Let's try colour first. That did not affect that. Is it path? In fact, let's forget that for a moment. Let's just see if we can change the colour of the actual SVG. So, root SVG green. That's not working. Do we need to change the path? And then is it stroke? Right. So it's SVG path stroke. Oh, I've got green there. But so if we then go to hover, that changes it to green. Let's copy that, put that in there, delete that. That changes that. It's just a case of where do we put the transition now? Should it be in here? Let's save that. Close that down. And let's have a look on the front end. Let's close the inspection there. Refresh the page. And let's see what we've got. What we've got is underline, we've got the button, we hover over it, and it changes. Changes the colour. Does it all link? No. That would be a parent element, wouldn't it? But that does work. I mean, it links to nowhere. I will have a look at that maybe. Clickable parent. So if we click on this now, that is position relative. We should just be able to, using CSS, we should just be able to go clickable parent, save that, refresh that. Now it works anywhere. The link works anywhere. That is an ACSS feature. I'm not that bothered about going into here because that's a different issue really. My main thing was to get the button to work, and I think that works pretty well. I hope you enjoyed me rambling around doing this. Bit of an odd one. Hopefully see you again in some other videos. Thanks. Goodbye.